Ding, ding, ding. There we go. What is going on, everybody? The market has opened on this thirsty Thursday. What is going on, everybody? Hope that we're having a good one out there with the fake news. Gotta love it, right? Got to love it. SPY bouncing around 560 here this morning, actually up quite a bit compared to where we closed yesterday, around 558. Getting up to around 560 now this morning is pretty good for an open. I'm definitely leaning more to the bull side today, but of course, let's react to how the PA moves here. The SPY is a little overextended from that low from yesterday. Might see a slight pullback. I'm looking for 560-ish to definitely hold, though. Watching this little base down here. If this gives out, which it looks like it might try to, we're going to be having some problems. Not getting the good continuation, but we saw Microsoft report last night. Their stock is actually doing pretty well at open here. That one's awesome. Meta, of course, reported too. They are pulling back, but Microsoft does look great. Looking at the Mag 7 setup here, we can tell Apple, Tesla, Microsoft looking pretty good. Tesla had that fake news. They are actually popping back here initially at open, which is awesome. If they end up ripping above 285, that would be great. I could not believe the fake news. Wall Street Journal puts out a article about Tesla. You know, we get some articles like this every once in a while. Pretty rare to see it from Wall Street Journal. They report Tesla board opened up search for a CEO to succeed Elon Musk. And then, of course, Tesla comes out on X and says, no, this is false. Let me see, do I have it here? I don't have the X post. Let me get it real quick. Throw it down right here. Earlier today, there was a media report erroneously claiming that the Tesla board had contracted recruitment firms to initiate a CEO search at the company. This is absolutely false, and this was communicated to the media before the report was published. So that's the big deal here. This was reported to the media before it was published. That's the big deal. That's why I think that this is such a weird situation, is because, of course, it's like, okay, you know, they put out something by mistake. Maybe there was like a miscommunication, something like that. They literally say here that they told the media that the report was false, and then they just published it. So it's kind of strange. Now, maybe someone made a mistake there. Who knows, at Wall Street Journal. But, you know, it says the CEO of Tesla is Elon Musk, and the board is highly confident in his ability to continue executing on the exciting growth plan ahead. So pretty insane. That is a pretty crazy thing to have happen. And hey, Tesla stock, though, doing great, ripping above resistance, which I was watching at 285 before I started reading that article. This is a great break of 285. Looking at Tesla on the book map, they have major resistance coming up around $300, which is huge. Although it's stuck, let me get it back up to where we are. There we go. 300 will be crucial here. 250,000 shares stacked up there. $250K, quite a bit. I got a 280 call before close yesterday. My balls were in my stomach until that fake news headline. When I woke up this morning and I saw that, I almost fainted. Insider trading, Juan said. Uh-oh. Why did my meta contract say plus 1,000 just now, then it's worth nothing at open? I was just checking simulated returns. Probably because there was an IV crush, Cly. Those simulated returns are kind of bad, especially on days following earnings, because the implied volatility moves a lot different than people will think. That's why earnings and the move after earnings, especially, you know, the very first move the morning after, pretty weird to play. Let me check meta here. I'll tell you if that IV crushed or not. Let me see if I have the chart here. I should have it here for you. Yeah, here we go. You'll see. Yeah, so look at the IV crush here. Look at the implied volatility just go bam. That's essentially your options getting screwed. Go to the 5-minute chart. Zoom out. See how it was really elevated yesterday ahead of the earnings? That's because going into earnings, market makers expect big moves. So they price options in ways that the stocks have to have big enough moves to make up for it. In this case, Meta's up around 6%. If I go to their chain and I look at we'll just say this week's options. Wow. You know, the calls are up a little bit. Like if you would have got some 570 calls, you know, they're up like 80%, 90% on like the 555 strike calls. So if you would have got close to the money yesterday, you'd be fine. But if you ended up getting any contract pretty much at the 600 strike or larger, you're losing right now on calls. Even though Meta's up 6%, that's because the market makers were pricing that in. That's why earnings suck for options. Really, they kind of suck to play in general. But I would believe that if Manny wouldn't die for Tesla. What? I would never believe Manny shorting Tesla. Yeah, I gotcha. Chase goes, Manny's the insider. Yeah, I think I'm with Mason there.
Here we go.
No problem, Cly. Yeah, it's weird. That's the weird thing with earnings there. Tesla was moving up. It's starting to pull back a little bit now. 287 pullback. That sucks to see. Gonna be watching 288 and 290 coming up. 290 resistance is pretty large. Bank of America, BAC, $40 resistance. Looking pretty solid here for a potential breakout coming into play. You could say $40.10. Definitely going to be testing that, though, in the short term. Let's look at the watch list today. What do we got to the upside? How are those MJ stocks today? MSOS actually holding its ground pretty well. Not bad. Let's check TTWO again. Hey, another all-time high on TTWO. Let's go. Take Two Interactive. Hood not participating, down 4%. Uh-oh. They have earnings tonight, don't they? Or were they last night? Oh, they were last night, duh. I'm being dumb. Last night. Of with Qualcomm. QCOM, both kind of down today. Yeah, Robinhood really sold off. They were actually green into this morning and gave it all back, weirdly. The hell kind of move is this? They might get a circuit breaker soon or a halt. I'm kidding. They might, who knows? We'll see. Doubt it. Probably needs more than that. Citigroup. Nothing crazy there. Go back to the watch list. Crazy to say Microsoft's up like 10% though. That's quite wild. You know, they've done it before, but pretty rare. That's one of the bigger gaps I've seen on this one. Maybe they haven't done it before. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they have at some point. You know, they've been around for a long time, but that's a big gap. Wow. They're actually so close to all-time highs now. It kind of blows my mind. This is where people can get left in the dust. You know, people that weren't buying up the dips. Now, of course, with the earnings, it's always risky just to buy right ahead of those, but I'm sure there's a lot of Microsoft investors that were averaging in on this downtrend. Let's check Intel. That's a stock that really needed a good report here, and their report wasn't the best, but their stock's still holding key support well. This is one that could be pretty advantageous if they do turn around.
Here we go.
On more of like a daily swing time frame. As long as we see tech continue to have good reports, even though they had some bad earnings there, you know, they are trying to turn things around. That new CEO has only been in for a little while. We got to give him a little time to get things going here. Lip Bhutan, Intel. Ahmad. 1,140% on Microsoft. There we go. Hell yeah. Microsoft had a much larger move than expected, so they are exploding. I'm sure people killed it on that. Looking at those calls, it was hard to lose on those. There was a good enough move on that one. Man, what a nice gain, though. I love to see that. Let the man cook. He'll cook us up some, like, I don't know. Grass said, oh, was the CEO news fake? It was. At least according to Tesla, it was on X. Tesla said today that it was fake. Pretty crazy. I even have the Wall Street Journal article open right here. Just to show you guys that they did report it. A lot of people started reporting it last night. Wall Fake Journal. I like that. The WFJ.
Invincible.
It's not a bad name for it. Are they the ones that reported the fake tariff news? You know, the fake tariff news was a bit of like a miscommunication, actually, apparently. But I can't remember if it was them or who exactly did it. I know CNBC was somebody reporting that one too. Not that they did it first, but I know there were a couple news sources named in that one, but CNBC, I remember being pretty prominent in a lot of those articles about that one. Nvidia looking good, Grass said. Coming back well. That's good to see. Very nice V-shaped recovery off of 112. Pretty good support. Very good first bounce coming back in. That's what we want to see. Perfect. Mason played 27 holes paired with a PGA Pro. Whoa. Damn, Mason. Tyler said got some good fact checkers out there. The weirdest thing about this whole fake news thing, and seriously, I know I said it earlier, but for anybody just now joining up, the weirdest thing about Elon Musk potentially, you know, with Tesla's board looking for a successor, the weirdest part about it being fake is that they said it's absolutely false and they communicated to the media before the report was published. So this is where I'm a little bit lost. Like, what is their rundown and their, like, operating procedure here? Because they said it was communicated to the media before the report was published. Does this mean that, like, the media came to them and said, hey, we're going to publish this, and then they told them it was false? Or was there, like, rumors of it, and then they told the media it was false before they, like, made a publication and were ready to post it? I'm a little lost there, like on, like, how they did this. Like, how does this even come about? Like, number one, like, they must have been, like, talking about it, you know, like, behind the scenes or something. And maybe that's kind of what's going on here. I'm a little bit lost. It's a weird situation overall. Sounds like someone with an agenda. It could be, you know, that's definitely something to think about. But I'm just curious on that operating procedure there. Like, how did they find out about it? Why did they report it if it was false? Why did Tesla tell them it was false? Like, did they come to Tesla and say, is this true? Or that's where I'm like, it's weird. NYMT, WTF. NYMT, New York Mortgage Trust exploding. They had earnings. Low price stocks, so up a lot today, 12%. Hey, the Adventure Addicts, subscribe. Thank you, sir. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit that sub and like it up this morning. 10 likes. Let's get those numbers up.
All right, all right, all right.
Let's go see how CGC and Tilray are looking again. A lot of downside action today. Not the best. Tilray's kind of holding. Let's see MSOS. The ETF has actually been moving a lot better than others. For those of you that don't know, these are marijuana stocks. They've been popping off quite a bit recently. There was some good news yesterday. Started to see them move a little bit.
Gotcha, babe. Okay.
Oh my God, Mr. Mackey. Yeah, well, their stocks are pretty bad, too. I always have said this, and, you know, it's been proven to be a good thing to say so far. Whatever you put into these MJ stocks, you need to be prepared to lose it. If you are trying to buy shares of these stocks for the long term or trying to buy up dips, a little bit can go a long way. You know, if you have like a larger account, I mean, something like just like $1,000, $2,000, you know, something like that, maybe even less. You know, it can go a long way if they start to really run. You know, we're talking maybe 500% plus. Like, let's just look at some of these situations. Maybe not 500 every time, but, you know, here's a 400%er there. Here's a 400%er there. Here's a couple, little less. 100%. 100%. You know, they do get some good movement time and again from little news, little pockets of news, we'll say. You know, they'll go through a period of getting some decent news. And right now, with the news yesterday, I'm going to see if I can pull it up here. The DEA is looking to reschedule cannabis, and the person that they're putting in as head of the DEA, it says that this is going to be one of their top priorities and first priorities, we'll say. They said one of their first priorities on the job. So, one of the first priorities, but again, they said the process is delayed. It's time to move forward. We'll see what they end up doing with it. Hopefully it goes positively and it not negatively for the MJ stocks. If it goes negatively for them, it could be game over for a lot of them. With how low they are. They'll probably have to reverse split. I said probably, I'm not sure on that. What's up? NMAX going on a run. Newsmax going crazy. Up 8% here. NMAX. There we go. Newsmax. Moving pretty well. Thanks for the heads up there. $21, $24. I better add them to my watch list. They're pretty new. Newsmax, 8.95%. Looking really good on the recovery here. You know, they've been dying in almost like in a pump and dump type of way. But they are starting to come back well this morning. Let's see if there's any news here. I have not seen any yet. A couple days ago, they did some distribution deals. Okay. Kanji Man said MSOS leaps are cheap. Yeah, it's a $3 stock, and I guess with it being so weird. Let's see how that IV looks right now on it. MSOS on a daily. IV's a little elevated, which kind of sucks. If it keeps ripping, it might dip a little bit, but it might make up for it with the price movement. Meta puts, Sonya said. You could go for meta puts. You know, it's pulling back really hard following the earnings. I would be a little cautious myself with it, personally. I feel like at this point, it's getting close to some big supports here at the bottom. I do like this 570-ish area, and then even below there, right around like 564, 565. Pretty big next support. I would think it might have a little reaction off this, not just like totally tank back. Mind bringing up your list of earnings? For sure. Here's the earnings calendar right here. Gotta love the earnings. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow there's really not too much. You got Fubo, Exxon, Chevron, maybe Cigna. I don't know too much about the others there. But in after hours tonight, Amazon, Apple, Big Bear AI, 5.9, Reddit, Airbnb, Riot. Lots of popular stocks here. Of course, Amazon and Apple mainly in focus. Big Bear AI will be kind of interesting. This stock is wild with Big Bear. If they have a good report, they'll probably fill the gap and probably push like $5 or higher, but they'll need to have a good one. They've been falling off. Their last report resulted in a little dip. Not the best thing to see there. I'm actually really worried about Amazon and Apple. So far out of the big tech stocks, we've mainly seen Google, Microsoft, and Meta report. Okay, those three companies, while they might be impacted by tariffs, okay, definitely not to the extent of like Apple and Amazon being impacted. So like Microsoft, Meta, Google, they deal a lot with like the cloud, you know, with AI, stuff like that, right? They're not necessarily out here like Amazon, you know, import with tons of sellers who import shit from China, and then Apple, who like literally produces everything in China almost. Well, you know, the majority of iPhones and all that stuff. So they'll be shifting that a little bit. And I'm wondering like what they talk about here as far as shifting to India with Apple. That is definitely going to be one big topic that I'm watching for with them. With Amazon, I mean, it's totally up in the air. Definitely worried about what they have to say, though. Especially after all that stuff with them earlier this week about showing the tariff cost, and Trump got pissed, and then Amazon said they weren't going to do it anyways, so it was a bit weird there. All right, go back to the SPY. Falling off a little bit, back to Nvidia. In and out just like that. I'm done for the day, up $1, but reserved my risk, so we good. I followed my plan. Don't have enough for at the money, or at the moment. Gotcha, Juan. Well, hey, you know, you stuck to the plan, and sometimes sticking to the plan means that, you know, you're not going to get the sexy gain every time, but you reserved your risk and kept what's in your pocket, so not a terrible day. As Tesla dips here, 280 has to be in focus. Hell yeah, Juan. Perfect. Keep sticking to it. $10,000 bites is an elephant. Keep eating. I feel like it's going to continue up. Demir said, I want to be bearish on the overall chart, but I feel like it's going to continue up. It kind of feels like a coil today. Kind of feels like the market's coiling here a little bit for a better move up. I'm definitely watching 558 and even the recent high around 555.50. That'll be a pretty big level if it does come down for a test. I could see it falling slightly before getting a better pop. White House advisor Miller does not commit to tariff relief for small businesses. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Yeah, Mason, I'm with you. I was pretty bullish on Tesla heading into today as well. They actually had a pretty good reaction despite the news. I'm with you. I feel like they would be doing pretty well. I feel like a lot of traders, they didn't even know, like, they still don't realize it's fake, I'm sure, some people. You know, it's easy to miss that headline of it being fake. There were some people in Discord, you know, this morning, like, even like when the market opened, saying that they didn't know. ACOP, when does PMI report come out here? Yeah, it actually just came out, right? Just now hit. Got some green coming in from it on the initial candle. Definitely a big candle. Let's go check the 2-star here. Came in at 241K on the initial jobless claims earlier. PMI came in at 48.7, a little higher than the consensus and forecast. Not terrible though, really very close, I'd say. Also very close to the previous reading. SPY is starting to react pretty well from this.
Invincible.
Let's click on it here. Business confidence in the United States decreased to 48.7 points from 49 points in March. I guess that's really the big thing here. It decreased, but not a lot, and not as much as they thought, so that's why we're probably getting a little bit of green off the bat. Tomorrow's data is going to be pretty damn important, though. Be ready for that. 1 hour before the market opens. Going to be pretty crucial with the unemployment rate and the non-farm payrolls. I think it'll be bigger than the ISM manufacturing PMI. SPY moving really well from this, though. So far, still in the chop zone, but this whole zone has been pretty rough. It's been just kind of doing that. We'll see if it keeps on that trend or if this news can get us going a little bit better. Looks like already some red mixed in, but just a little. That candle could still shift. The chop's killing me, Demir said. Let's try to look where the chop isn't at. CARR had earnings. They are moving pretty well post earnings. Newsmax was hot. They're coming back a little bit. Let's see Oracle here. ORCL has been pretty consistent. You can maybe look at this as like a pop, pull, and go. ORCL. They are up like 5% though. Dominion Energy. Cleveland Cliffs looks pretty good. CLF can have some great PA timing again. Be nice to see a good breakout with them here. Let's see them on the daily. They must be recovering up a lot. Yeah, looking pretty good. Pretty good on the daily. Resistance up around 875, maybe like 20 cents away. Whoa, you're heading to Utah. Getting through Vegas first, then to Utah. Nice. What's out there, Demure? Just vacation or something? That's cool. I don't hear of many people going to Utah. You're probably the first person I've ever heard tell me that they actually went to Utah for something. Oh, it's for that LPGA tour. That's right. I forgot about that. I didn't realize it was in Utah. Utah is great. Great boarding. Utah is my favorite state. I visited, Pew Pew said. Oh, that was Utah? I didn't know that was Utah, but... Lake Powell is beautiful. Yeah, I don't know a lot about that stuff, guys. I just know it's a state that I haven't heard a lot about. Wow, CLF really getting some action. I always say I don't get why people like to go look at rocks, but it's, I understand, though. It's, people love it. I like rocks. Hell yeah, Steve.
Invincible.
Palantir falling off. 118 coming into play. Poor Palantir. Not getting the action. Tesla pulling back as well. Wow. I'm going back to Cleveland Cliffs where the fun is. Nice pop pull setup on Palantir, Demir said. On that pullback, let's see. Big supports are coming up. 116, 50, 117. Even got some support at like 118 here as well. Not bad, Demir. Not bad. I would say my only concern is if it dipped like this, you know, you might want to have the cojones to hold off that support, but yeah, I feel you guys. I feel you. I've been to a lot of greener national parks too. The Red Rocks is a nice change of scenery. The only one I've been to is like the Grand Canyon. I went to that. I also like I do like the landscape around like the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. There's definitely some huge cliff faces, and it's kind of neat to like rip some boats around in there, but cool parks. There's like a park with like an old castle or something. But just not my thing. As you guys know, I'm a nerd. You need to see the Rockies? Oh, that'd be pretty cool. The Rockies. You know, I think it'd be cool to see the Rockies from an aerial view.
Here we go.
Probably be scary as hell, but... Thoughts on TSM, Grass said. Taiwan Semiconductors. They're holding up really well today at 171. I would say holding their ground a lot better than many other stocks today. Looks pretty good. I love the way they're holding. It's not the worst bullish setup in the world, but it's not the best. Not the best either. So I put it as like a 5 of 10 right now. I think it's right in the like middle of its choke point. It's I could see it getting a move out of this range soon, within like the next maybe like hour, maybe like hour to 40 minutes. I just don't love the slowness of it right now. Granted, it's slow now, but it might not be slow later. Just a tough one here. No like real directional action. The rest of tech is kind of slowing up, which kind of worries me a bit. SPY still in the chop zone we drew. Tomorrow's economic calendar looks heavy. Yeah, Jesley, it is pretty heavy. Non-farm payrolls, the unemployment rate, definitely pretty big there. We had that ISM manufacturing PMI hit a little while ago. SPY had an initial bullish reaction, but has now bucked that off and has continued in the chop. What do you know about chop? Too much of that being said lately, I feel. Too much chop in the short term.
Invincible.
Tom, do you have an opinion on ETFs to invest in within a Roth? I just transferred an old 401k into one, but need to allocate it. ETFs to invest in within a Roth. Let's see. I would generally stick to safer stuff. You know, maybe the less expense ratios, the better. Like, let's say VOO over like SPY. I know SMH is a pretty good ETF people like for semiconductors. This one has been dipping a lot recently. Not at a terrible price for the long run, in my opinion, especially at the, you know, lower end of that dip. I know it's like already like halfway up, but I do like SMH if you're looking at one and that side of things. It's hard to really just go wrong with VOO, honestly, if you're looking at a nice diversified ETF that follows the SPY more. From there, it kind of depends on like what type of sectors you like. You know, there's always oil ETFs. If you want exposure to that, there's metal ETFs. One that might be pretty good is GDX, a gold mining ETF. Probably isn't terrible. I know that it's pretty high in the short term, but if you're in a Roth, you should be averaging in anyways. So average in, you know, while gold prices stay elevated, hopefully these miners can get going some more. Short term. I'd probably try to stay away from like retails, like I'd probably try to stay away from things like coals and ETFs that have stuff like that in it. I would try to stick more to like tech. SCHG, that's not bad. Yeah, SCHG is not a terrible one. There's SPLG as well. SPLG is another one. Tangyman said URA is pretty cheap. You know, uranium has been talked about a lot as people talk about nuclear energy becoming larger and larger. I'll tell you what, URA looks in a really advantageous spot on the chart. That's a good one, Tangy. You know, and a lot of people have been looking at nuclear over the past couple years. URA is definitely a stock and ETF that definitely piques my interest here. It definitely got to a low enough price where it's kind of like, wow, you know, it's looking solid down here. I know a lot of people are looking at more nuclear stuff related, especially to AI and data center development. You know, they need more and more power. We've even heard like Microsoft, Google, big names investing in that stuff here. Haha, Tangy Man loves the uranium. VTI, ACOP said. Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. Might not be bad. We'll have to compare this one to the, to like VOO, for example, on returns, but looks pretty solid. Yeah, if you want to talk some long-term portfolio stuff, you should join up on the DVC, the Deep Value Club. That's what Hunter specializes in. You can get access to the special portion of the Discord whenever you sign up as well. Here, I'll throw a link in the chat. It's only 30 bucks a month. Like, I would say if you're trying to set up your, if you're trying to set up a Roth IRA and get some good long-term stocks, join the Deep Value Club for a month. Spend the 30 bucks. Get some great insight from Hunter. He'll go over lots of stuff with you in the general chat in the Deep Value Club portion of the Discord. And, yeah. If you're looking to build like a Roth or something, check out the DVC. And Hunter has a lot of great articles about looking at long-term stocks and then at the same time about some possible opportunities as well. Joke of the day, how do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it. Oh my god. Put a little boogie in it. Oh my god, man. That's your new favorite one? Oh no. Fraz says, how does reverse splits affect calls? For instance, if say someone had 50 call contracts for Tilray and they do a 1-for-10 reverse split, does that mean I would have 5 call contracts? It could. It could, Fraz. You know, I haven't dealt with a situation like that in a long time, Fraz. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna have to jog my own memory on that one. It's been like years since I've dealt with a situation like that, Fraz. Give me just a second here. Let's jog my memory real quick here. I know that there can be multiple different ways that this occurs here. Yeah, so here's kind of, this is what I was thinking, okay. Yep. So if it, like, let's say it does like a 1-for-10 reverse split, essentially you'll still have 50 call contracts, but what's going on now is you're gonna be going at each contract covering 10 shares at the higher price rather than 100 shares at the lower price, if that makes sense. So like if there's gonna be a reverse split, and your call contracts, let's just say, are $100 a contract, and you have 50 contracts, you know, that'll be like $5,000. So at the end of the day, what you'll do is it'll still be $5,000. You'll still have 50 contracts. It's just, it'll instead be 50 contracts covering 10 shares instead of 100 shares. But those 10 shares being covered will be at the higher price after the reverse split. If that makes sense. Cool. Just wanted to make sure it made sense to you, because I know that can get a little bit confusing there. They said that go ask Grok. Honestly, Fraz, go ask Grok. I'm sure it'll give you a very similar answer. Add MOS to my collection of pure profit dividend plays. Just got stopped out of one. 24 of my 25.9 shares covered my costs. plus 0.25 per share. I'll let the profits ride for the divvy. Hey. So you added MOS. Okay. MOS Mosaic. It's been a while since I've looked at this one. Wow, you know, they're coming up really well. Very well in the short term, actually. Crazy there.
Invincible.
Damn scammers out here. Damn, this chop is the most excruciating thing to deal with. I feel you, AK. You know, chop can be pretty hurtful. SPY's starting to get towards the upper end of the chop zone, though. Maybe we're finally getting the nice move back. You know, it's been a while that it's been stuck here today. There we go, getting above that recent high a little bit. Nice action. Whoa. Oh, we got some X news coming through. US Steel. Third Point expects US Steel Nippon merger to proceed. I guess we'll see with Third Point if they're right or not. They own a meaningful stake in US Steel. US Steel did have some positive action on this today. Looking at the daily chart, getting pretty close to that recent high once again. We had that big money play come out on March 25th. After it had that green day, it's been chopping around here since. There's a lot of time to this big money play. There was $8.2 million put into this big money play. Okay, $8.2 million.
Here we go.
That is a crazy play there on X. I'm going to go check and see if the big money's still in this. They are, and they added to the position. That's pretty crazy. The big money doubled down on that one too. Buying in again a second time on April the 2nd. And the IV shot up again by another 20,000 contracts to bring the OI up to 40K. That's pretty insane. Wow. If we see this deal go through or something, that could be a monumental trade here for whoever got into X. QQQ recovering up very well. SPY also very nice action. Back to the upside. That was the move that we needed to get the break going. Love it. High of the morning coming into play at 562. Be ready for some potential action. Seeing good movement out of Mag 7 in general. Watch for some nice uptrends to start coming in. If SPY can get the break continuing. The QQQ looks great as well. Nvidia, not the best. Apple coming up off the dip very well. I'm gonna go look at the heat map here. Avgo, up almost 3%. There we go, AVGO. Watch Avgo, guys. I'm gonna start just looking at the hotter stocks rather than the Mag 7 today, because Mag 7 looks boring. ETN, Caterpillar, GEV, DE. Why is DE moving like this? John Deere. The fuck? Cat? Is it because these are like American companies? Are they starting to like get some boosts? Man, John Deere. Maybe they're just following Cat up with their earnings, but they are ripping. John Deere, I gotta see the news. Yeah, I'm not even seeing any news here. I know that they're American companies. I just don't know, like for example, if John Deere's parts are foreign or whatever. I'm sure they're not. Same with Cat. I know Caterpillar's huge in construction and hydraulics and all that. Mineral trade from Ukraine, maybe? How else can you extract minerals, Steve said. Chop your credit card in half. Sonia said HIMS, HIMS. You know, HIMS looks pretty hot in the short term. I love the way it held that support today. That looks awesome. What a good hold. Made a higher low.
Here we go.
This is fantastic movement here. Tesla ripping back to the upside. Great movement with the market. There we go, back above 285, getting the action back. Bucking off the fake news. Let's get it going, Tesla. Yeah, Mason, make sure that you have the colorful slider up here at the top for the heat map. It's right here. You guys probably can't even see that up there, can you? I didn't even realize that. You guys can't even see that. But it's right here. Weird that it went gray like that, though. Man, Tesla, there we go. 287.50, new high of the morning. Yes, sir. Let's fucking go. Cleveland Cliffs going. Yes. That is awesome. Hell yeah, Sean. Yeah, I don't know either, man. You know, sometimes after updates, I've noticed things change a little bit, but...
Invincible.
I've had HIMs for a while, holding long term, Dr. Al said. Nice. I think it's a good long term play, especially from down around recent lows here. It's because of the India trade agreement. Both CAT and DE are net exporters to India. I did not know that, Tanji. That's some good info to know, though. HIMS, there we go. Uh-oh, Demir said rejection on SPY. Right around 562 resistance, high of this morning. Man, of course, right? Pretty much right at the high of the morning. Rejects. Of course. Man, we're gonna have to have some more chop before we get through. That sucks to see. Tesla at 288, a bit stuck here. Watching for 290 and 292. That's what I have. Also, yeah, 290 though. Gotta put a resistance there. I probably took it off because my chart was cluttered. Too much clutter. Gosh darn it. AK said, I got it. What'd you get, AK? You put the devil face. I can't tell if you're happy or mad. It looks like happy, I think, though. I'm out at the top. There you go. What do you think Tesla's gonna do? You got 37% on Tesla. Beautiful, AK. Carlo with Tesla right now today. It's rejecting at 288. I still see it to the upside, even though it's rejecting back down a little bit right here. I do see it still more up here today. I'm definitely watching more for a 290, like 289 to 290 test. Even though there's a slight pullback now. I would say it's pretty flat. Nice, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get that action. Bring up the watch list, or the Mag 7. I clicked the wrong thing. And Tesla re-breaking out. There we go. 288.30. Already re-breaking. Microsoft looks like it's basing really well for a potential breakout back to the upside here. Also, man, Microsoft. Come on, let's go. I think I clicked the wrong button again. Looks like HIMS just broke above the 50 EMA on a 30-minute chart soon after dipping below it. Looks good for support. Woke up thinking I was losing it all. I know, right? What a turnaround. Yeah, man. That must have been fire here. Awesome that it came back, though. I will say, you know, it didn't fall down in pre-market as much as I thought, but I know that the news came out pretty early last night about it being fake, so that helped, I think. Man, overall, though, great recovery back. I am kind of surprised to see it doing so well. Let's see if 290 ends up touching here. Yeah, and like the 24-hour trading, right? Man, Tessie. Looking at some headlines here real quick. Hey, Demir said he just made another scalp on SPY to the upside. There you go, Demir. Nice. Nice scalp back. SPY breaking out. New high of the day. Pretty clear above resistance now. Watching for 563 resistance next. I have more major resistance at 565. We got to scroll back quite a ways to get this resistance.
Here we go.
Yeah, 563 had a few really good peaks in the past, and 565 held up beautifully a few times. So those two levels will be the chef's kiss today. I would hope 565, since, you know, hopefully we can go on a little bit of a run. We're green today, boys. Hell yeah, AK. You know what that means.
All right, all right, all right.
SPY lightly broke as well. Microsoft broke resistance a little bit. New to Mo said lightly broke in the Discord. It did lightly break. It's looking good over in the Bitcoin world. MSTR's dropping, you said? Oh, it's looking pretty good, yeah, today. Really nice action, almost up to $400. Wonder how that looks on the book map.
Invincible.
All right, so it looks like on Bookmap there's like 57,000 shares pretty much at 400. Quite a bit, and there's a whole lot at 398, 398.50, 399, and then even 400. Wow, that's a lot going on there. Bitcoin. Pretty insane, you know, whenever we look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, how much it's actually been coming to the upside in the short term. It is actually making such a great move that we might as well almost just say it's going to go for an all-time high test. It really, the move is that solid looking on the Bitcoin daily chart right now that, I mean, it's almost to the midpoint of the range where we might see a little bit of a slowdown right around 100K. You know, that's going to be a big psychological level there. But with the way it's going, I would not be surprised to see it even test like 110K fairly soon. SPY is like already more than halfway back up from the bottom. To do a full recovery, SPY would need to rise 27% from the low. It's up, wow, yep, more than half, 16% right now.
Here we go.
Yesterday at some point it was like halfway up, but and don't forget, Kay, shout out to you for the cool charting analysis yesterday with the nice trend line bounce. KJ Lynn, if you're listening out there today, shout out to you. That was hot yesterday. It doesn't get much better than that, KJ. My thoughts were 110 to 125K before mid-June. Mid-June. We're already to May now. Mid-June. Man, that's awfully soon. Let's just say this, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not going that high by then. Hood and Meta go up, Sonya said. Hood and Meta. I hope they go up. White House National Security Advisor Waltz will be leaving his post. Uh-oh. That sounds pretty brutal. Don't want to see that. See you later, Demure. Have a great one, man. Let's go, Hood. I have a call butterfly on Hood, Dr. Owl said. Hey, there we go. Hood's, I mean, it's bouncing off key support. This is one of the larger supports that we've seen in the short term, and it's continued to react really well here. I could see it holding up here today. I could. It's pretty good price action. You know, the SPY's moving well. We're getting good action there. SPY right around 563, next resistance. Go check Rivian. 3.44%. Very nice intraday run going on. Tesla slowed up close to 290. Not surprised, you know, it could still break it today, but pretty big resistance. Not surprised to see it hold up. Let's look at Nvidia here in a bit of a weird trend. Looks like it might try to break this here soon.
Here we go.
Pretty weird pattern today with Nvidia, if I must say so. We'll see if the lower end of this bounces again. That would be good confirmation on it, but bring up the watch list. What is leading the way now? TeraWulf, 12%. WULF. This stock loves to have crazy days. APLD, another one that loves crazy movement. 10% today. Microsoft rejected. Oh, man. Rejected at resistance. It had that soft break and then it broke right down. So many stocks up over 4%. Snowflake. AppLovin, APP, APA. APA is really on fire today. Let's go to the daily of APA. Recent big money play for the long term. Love this one. Let's go check Robinhood again. I know you guys were loving that one today. Dipping down. They ran up with earnings, dipped on earnings, trying to hold their ground. Looks pretty good back to the upside intraday. I like that base forming underneath. If the base gives out, that's where I look to cut, but I can see it holding here pretty well. Tesla stuck at the high a day, not even really pulling back much. SPY's testing 563 here. It's been a little choppy at this zone, but it continues to slowly but surely apply pressure to highs. Sonia says Meta. There we go. Back above 580. This one's looking like how I wanted Microsoft to look. See how it's holding its ground well, starting to break out right here. This is exactly what I wanted Microsoft to do. Exactly. Come on, Microsoft, you asshole. Pull a Meta for us here. You had the better report anyways. What the hell? No, I'm just kidding. But I did want it a lot more with Microsoft. Meta, though, was the way to go. Very nice base. Very nice. Textbook. This is like a... Just so you guys know, like, if you guys are ever like, you know, what's a setup that Tom really likes, like, where it's like a textbook setup to the upside? It's a setup like this, where a stock dips towards support, it forms a solid resistance just like this, and then gets a good break going on that resistance break. Now, it also is really good because it provides opportunities for entry, like right here on this lower support. Same spot it bounced here. Same spot it reacted at here for the most part. Provides entry opportunity. Makes for good risk reward. Microsoft's getting there. It might still, get some meta action going. Greatest recovery by Google past 20. Hell yeah, Sean. Wow, Google, that is awesome. I love this for the bullish opportunity here. This is like the third test, just even from last night. We're talking so many hits and touches off of this level. For Google, it's got to break eventually, right? And we're seeing a lot of stocks breaking out right now. It could follow along. It looks like it's definitely reacting a little bit more to the downside here, but let's look at the daily. I mean, this is pretty textbook here too. This is pretty textbook on the daily, if I had to say. I'm gonna take some levels away so it looks cleaner here. Really love the way it's holding that trend line right there after the breakout. That is awesome to see. This is like a good pop, pull, and go strategy on a daily chart. As long as you understand the risk of options, might not be a bad swing here. Back towards 165, 166, maybe 174, 175. Maybe target the one, let's see, let's go to the change.
Invincible.
Go out to July 18th. I thought so. So 165 strike calls. Something right around 165. Going for $750. Not too bad. Not too bad for such a big boy like Google. We run a big risk right now. Let me pull up Google on the implied volatility. Hopefully we're seeing that dip a little. Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome. The IV has dipped down a little bit, which is nice. Unless we get a real big tariff disaster. I like the prospect of Google to the upside here off this support at 156, 157. I guess you call it even 155 if you wanted to get technical with it. But the IV's down a little bit on this dip, giving you a little opportunity with the options not being as overpriced as let's say you would have bought in down here. A little overpriced on the options, but with the IV a little lower now, it's getting a little bit better on the pricing. Looking at it in the ultra short term, in a bit of a chop zone right here. There's a couple ways you can go. You can try to enter here for the breakout today, maybe. You can be extra patient and maybe wait for another dip towards the support for a secondary touch. That might not come if we get some good action today, but maybe you could, buy one or a few contracts here, buy a few contracts if it does get to support, and then use that recent low as a stop. Multiple ways to look at this. I would probably go with the second one I said. Enter a little bit here. Again, if it dips, enter again there. Double down at support. And if this breaks, cut it down there. Of course, they're $750 contracts. If you have a $2,000 account and you buy 2 or 3 contracts of this, you know, it's not going to be the best thing for you, but you know, if you have some capital and you understand risk, you know, like 4 or 5 contracts go a long way with this. Maybe like 2 now, 2 down there. Little swing action. Looking great though, intraday though. 1 minute, still holding its ground at that high. I think there's a possibility it could break today for sure. Given the way that we're seeing things move. SPY's breaking 563, or at minimum testing it right now. Just touched it. Tesla up around 290. That's a crucial spot for them. That's going to be a tough breakout. Nvidia's still stuck in this wedge / triangle. Still stuck here. Sell a call spread? I'd probably do more like call debit spreads, but I still think Microsoft looks pretty good intraday. Like, I still think they could pop up more personally. There could always be a massive pullback here, but I actually really like the way a lot of stocks look right now to the upside, and I definitely lean to the upside here intraday. The bulls are like coming alive in the short term. Something's going on here. The only thing I don't love is the constant spams in the chats, but all right, SPY, there we go. 563.40. Let's fucking go. Great action. We're going to do a quick intermission. Going to check on the daughter really fast. Going to throw up the Mag 7. Going to grab another bottle of water. We're through the first one today. We're through the first one here. All right, let's go. Quick intermission as we get the breakouts going, guys. Watch for some momentum. Nvidia's going. Amazon's starting to move. Microsoft's even trying to pop as well. Fantastic. Be right back, guys.
Here we go.
invincible.
All right. Let's go. Got fired up yesterday to take a walk. Discord is serious business. What's the book map on the SPY? Let's see. 565. There we go. 565. 14,000 shares stacked up there as resistance. That's going to be a big level. That's what I have as resistance today, 565. Look at those Thinkorswim glitch prints on Apple there. That's kind of weird. Definitely not seeing those on TradingView. Isaac said Trump about to speak. He is speaking, actually, I think, right now. Oh. It says he's hosting the National Day of Prayer. So, I have a feeling it's not going to be very stock market related, but they might ask him questions after. Appreciate you guys joining up, though. Sticking with us this week. If you're here, destroy that like button. We're at 18 likes right now. Let's get those numbers up. Tesla rejecting pretty hard at 290. That was a big level. I even talked about that level in last night's video. 290 and 300 coming into play. He's probably thanking Jesus for today's gains. Hell yeah, Mason. Hallelujah. Tesla 290. You guys got me laughing today. Ford General Motors here. GM 4620. Resistance bouncing pretty perfectly. Pretty perfectly here this morning. Oklo 12.34% exploding. Continues to put pressure on the high of the day. CLF, slowly but surely. HIMS, very explosive off that dip. My gosh. All the way back to 35 plus already. Wow. I feel like we just looked at them and they were at like 33. Wow, Hood. Sonya's excited with Hood recovering up as well. Yes, I love the way that looked. Fantastic action there. Great resistance break intraday. Great stuff there. Meta's pulling back towards that resistance, which is now becoming support at 580. See if it can hold up now. That'll be interesting to see. Microsoft is just now barely getting above resistance. Again, very slow as it tries to break, but it's trying to get that move going. Hang on one sec. Hims. Wow, someone just posted a nice gain up in the discussion channel. Nice little $1,200 hit there. Love to see it. Good stuff, Nigel. Everybody go like that post up and give him a shout out. Go bombard him. Make him mad with all the congrats. I'm just kidding. Don't make him so mad that he don't like us, though. Nice stuff, Sonya. Hope you're enjoying some great gains there, Sonya. Very nice. Hey, Chase. What was that car that you posted up in the Discord? I saw that in Off Topic yesterday, and I must have been busy at the time, and I didn't reply. Is that an Urus, or what is that?
Here we go.
I can't quite tell. Ah, okay, okay. I thought so. I couldn't quite tell if it was like an Urus or one of those fancy BMW ones or something. From that angle. If I would have seen the front, though, I would have definitely known. I'm enjoying 50% on S-Bucks. Hey, the coffee. There you go. That's a pretty good recovery, Sean. Buying Starbucks up today. That's kind of a different one. Yeah, it's like a shiny matte. It's weird. I like it too. Oh, an 80-year-old got in there? Go back to Wolf. Hitting 3.20 resistance. Be careful with Wolf. It might slow down here. It's a pretty big level, apparently. Oklo. Slowing up slightly. Are we going to see a big growth stock slowdown now? SMR at resistance, slowing down a little bit. APLD applied. Doing pretty well, but slowing down.
Invincible.
Tesla push is powerful. 290 break. There you go. Very nice, Tessie. Let's go check the book map. $94,000 volume at that 290 break, which is pretty solid there. UPST has been recovering steadily, Jake said. Upstart. Pretty good jump there by Tesla overall. Waiting for it to kind of get towards 292. Next resistance I have. I'm sure a lot of people are watching for $300 in the short term. I don't blame you. It's a big level coming up. But over the past few weeks, 292 and then even like 295 have been very influential. We can see 295 right here on this hourly candle touch at the top, and then 292 right back here was a perfect peak. Little triple top. UPST been recovering steadily. Upstart. Been a little while since I've looked at Upstart. Let's see them on a daily. Not too bad. We zoom out. They are pretty low still, relatively. They're trying to bounce around that $30 support. If they end up breaking that, they're going to fill that gap down to like 25. That would suck. But for now, they're holding that support very well. They are coming back, which is nice. Overall, pretty great momentum there. What a time to be a trader, though, with all this great price action in the short term. Wow, SPY just had a crazy 1-minute candle. I'm looking at news. Oh, that security advisor for Trump, Waltz. Uh-oh. USA weighs easing Nvidia chip curbs. USA weighs easing. Whoa, Nvidia exploding. Nvidia, holy shit, Nvidia. Nvidia with the news. Nvidia with a very nice move there. Wow. That's what really got the SPY moving. They're going to ease the chip curves on UAE as Trump plans visit. Pretty big piece of news. Let's fucking go. This is driving some crazy action into Nvidia here. 114.50 high of day coming into play will probably break. This is on fire at the moment. Man, this is exactly what the SPY needs. It's exactly what it needs to keep the run going here. It's at 564. We need to get up to like 565. Big next resistance on SPY. 564 could be pretty large as well. I would definitely be watching it close. We just saw that wick. But wow, what a crazy piece of news there. Wicked candle. Nation Money says, let's go. Boom. I love the timing of that. Right as it breaks out of that, it got it to really break out of this wedge that it was stuck in. Man, it was stuck at this trend and inside this little level. Kind of weird how it played out. But the news came through. Let's go. News came through this time. Wow, what a break. 114.65, well above the high of this morning now. Continuing to run. Let's go. What a push. Man. Let's go check out the daily chart here. Big resistance on Nvidia coming up. Fuck. 115. This is major.
Here we go.
That is a pretty big level there at 115, as we can see. Wow, that's a great piece of news there for Nvidia. 114.80. What a run. Man, I'll tell you what. The Nvidia call options from the bot this morning are going to be on fire. They called them out at 9:33 Eastern time. Starting to come back alive. For anybody that held those. Man, this is such a good move. 115. Let's go check the SPY again. Still stuck at 564. Let's go see MSTR. Pulling back a little bit.
Invincible.
Hell yeah. You guys liking that move? That is fire there. Let's go. It says McDonald's, Starbucks, and other U.S. chains could face anti-American pushback. Oh, like bad China sales now or something. That sucks. That would suck for Mickey D's. They report earnings today. Didn't they already report? Yeah. Fell a little bit, didn't really move much. Give me 1 sec, guys. I got my daughter running around here today. Hey. Come tell them all what's up. McDonald's, 319, 320. Not too bad, though. In reality, Nvidia, though, just knocking my socks off with the price action. What a nice move. All right, now we're at major 115 resistance here. Don't be afraid to, you know, be careful. This is a big resistance. You know, if you scalped it up,
Here we go.
not too bad to just take some profits there. I think Tesla will recover. It had a pretty good move towards 290. It could be a little bit exhausted today. Could be a bit exhausted. All right, Nvidia, 115. That was a pretty big hit at 115. Already pulled back fairly hard. That's a big pullback there. Trash with cash.
Invincible.
What's up? Tell them that Nvidia is doing good. Scalp some Nvidia. Scalp Nvidia. That's what she said. Watch this be fake news now. Now I don't know what's real. She could be the next Fed chair. Oh, that would be cool. Next, though, I don't know. Powell would have to be like 100. That'd be funny if she did a better job on interest rates. Citigroup looking pretty good here intraday. Pushing up really high. Pushing the high from high of this morning. Might try to go for a bit of a break. Looks very solid. The Mag 7, are we getting some pullbacks? Yeah. Look at all these glitch candles on Apple on Thinkorswim. This is weird. Weird glitches there. Yeah, getting a lot of pullback from Mag 7 here. It's not like they're like down a lot or anything. Nvidia is still up 5%, but we are getting little pullbacks just all across the board. All right. Nvidia came back to test some support here. Pretty solid range. A lot of bounces around here. 114 to 115. Yes. She's laughing at me. What's so funny? 114.20. Nice bounce here, Nvidia. Holding pretty well for now. I'm definitely watching 114. Worst case scenario, it bounces back down towards this range. I doubt that it gets much below here where it started popping off at like 113.40 if it pulls back a lot. I'm definitely watching for it more to hold one of these ranges here. One of these supports. Someone said AMD's trying for 100 in the Discord. It definitely is, sitting right at $100 right now. Trying to go for a break. AMD, it's right there. Right at resistance. Can we get the push? All right, guys. We're probably going to call the stream there. I appreciate you guys for joining up, hitting that like button, and just throwing us on every morning. Hope you saw some news here today quicker than you would have elsewhere. I was pretty fucking quick on that Nvidia news. That was fast. The second it came through,
Invincible.
I saw it. ARM. Pretty good action today as well. But, alright, guys. And gals, have a great rest of your day. Great rest of your week. We have 2 trading days left. I guess technically 1.5 if you're getting technical. Appreciate it, Chase. Thanks for the supers, of course, and joining up as always. Been awesome in the chats. No problem, Sonia. Let's go, Isaac. Yuli. All right, guys, have a great one. Talk to you later. Brandon, too.